Welcome everyone. My name is Jules. Welcome to the Intern webinar. Just want to go ahead and check a few things as we're waiting for some people to join on. Just want to make sure that you can hear me okay and the audio sounds good. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and just put that in the chat box right now. And then as we're waiting for a few people to jump on, go ahead and write in the chat box where you're from, where you're joining us from, and one great, awesome thing that happened to you in your day today. Good, I see a few things coming in. Sarah, sounds like you've had a really good day today. You said you took your dog for a walk. That's great. Joining us from Bethesda, Maryland. Awesome, welcome, Sarah. Great, it looks like we've got Jen that's jumping on. We've got Jen coming in from Florida, Amanda coming in from Texas. Wow, all over the place. So just as I check a few things, it sounds like you guys can hear me just fine for right now, but keep putting it in the chat box over to the right. Once again, where are you from and something awesome that happened in your day today. So we're waiting for just a few more people to join us and jump on this evening. And I'll let you go ahead and keep filling up with questions there. Great, it sounds like everything is going good. Amanda, we've got you coming in from California. Awesome, welcome. If you're just joining us, go ahead and just write in the chat box right now one place or one awesome thing that happened in your day today and where are you from. My name is Jules once again. This is the Intern webinar. We'll be starting in just a few minutes here. Looks like we've got Henry that's coming in from Texas again, Austin, Texas. Welcome, Henry. Henry said you closed a client today. Awesome, good stuff all around. And once again, just want to make sure on everyone's computer the audio sounds good, they can hear. So just to the chat box over to the right, just go ahead and type yes if you can hear the audio, and go ahead and type yes if you can see me on the screen, that everything sounds good to you. And if you're just joining us, go ahead and share where you're from in the chat box and share one awesome thing that happened in your day. Sounds like everyone can hear me just fine, which is great. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn my screen over. All right, a few technical difficulties. We're going to share the entire screen with you. Thank you so much for everyone that is joining us this evening. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedules. I know a lot of you are living really full lives, so thanks for joining in. It sounds like we've got people from all over, some people from Canada that we've got on here, people from all across the United States. So thanks for popping on with us. And we're going to go ahead and get started on the Intern webinar. So my name is Jules, for those of you that know me and those of you that don't know me. And this webinar this evening is all about my secret system to recruiting top interns. So this all came about, I know some of you are joining us from a Facebook post in a group, and a lot of that idea was me recognizing this strategy that I'm about to share with you this evening is a strategy that I developed a few years ago, and one that I'm now still currently using in my business. And the ability to still see results and seeing more results, no matter if it's having an established degrees of results that are available using this system. So super excited to have you on with me this evening, and super excited to teach you my 3 simple step process to recruiting interns and bringing them into your business. So this webinar is for you. Oh, looks like we are. Here we go. This webinar is for you if you are experiencing overwhelm doing too many tedious tasks. So how many of you out there, like the woman on the first slide, have a to-do list that is like 10 pages long? I know a lot of you out there are solo entrepreneurs, and you are the marketing, you are the talent, you are the communication, you're the design, and you're doing a lot of stuff yourself. and often doing all the business work while taking care of a family and various other things, it's pretty easy to get overwhelmed. So if you're in that position where you have a to-do list that is 10 pages long, you are in the right place this evening for this webinar. This webinar is for you if you're tired of hiring and training new talent over and over again. So how many of you out there are working with people? Maybe you're outsourcing, maybe you've used Odesk, or maybe you're using a VA, whatever that might be. But for one reason or another, they're just not doing the job in the way that you see it. You know, I know for myself, a big part of it is that I would try to train somebody, and no matter how much I trained them, they would get the results, but I almost found it was better if I just did it myself. So if you're out there and you're working with people and outsourcing to people and you're finding yourself exhausted from this training over and over again, this is the right place for you. This webinar is for you if you want to scale your business but have no money to outsource. So for those of you that are just getting started and are, you know, maybe closing your first few clients, or maybe you're still barely making enough money to support yourself in your business, but not enough to pay somebody else, then I'm going to this without having the resources and how I did that in my own endeavors. This is also for you if you're tired of overpaying for quality people who always seem to quit. You know, there's a line out there that quality people always seem to cost more. And I would agree. A lot of really talented people that don't quite recognize their talent yet, or that just aren't really in a point where they realize, you know, they need to charge $1,000, $5,000 plus an hour to work or to do different things. So I'm going to show you exactly how to find raw talent before it becomes discovered, and how you can develop that raw talent to make it really work in your business, and how you can develop it to grow your business. And this is also for you if you want to add tens of thousands of dollars to your bottom line. So using this strategy is how I scaled my business from $0 to $1.2 million my first year of business. And I'm going to show you that the secrets behind how I did that, and how if you're listening and you are tired of watching Facebook and you're tired of watching everyone else have success, this is time for you to shine. And this is a method that you can use tonight, right now in your business, to start getting the different results. So what led me to create this webinar? I'm Jules. Like I said, this is me on the screen with my pup, Ella, who's 7 months old. She's a black lab dog. So for all of you animal lovers out there, have a lot of fun with her. So what led me to create this webinar? Well, 3 years ago, I started a publishing company, and we specialized in making books #1 bestsellers on Amazon. And I had this idea for this publishing company, a huge vision, really wanted to scale, but I couldn't afford to outsource. You know, I was at the point in my business where I had the ideas, I knew where I was going, but I was the solo entrepreneur. I was a one-woman show. And I found myself working 16-plus-hour days, coming home, trying to make dinner, trying to take care of all these things around the house, yet still, you know, trying to get this business off the ground and struggling to just pay my bills. So how many of you out there can identify with that? And so, you know, one day I was sitting at my desk and I was frustrated, I was overwhelmed, and I was just stuck. So I got thinking to myself, I'm like, there's got to be a way that I can get some of this off my plate and do it in a way where I can provide value, and do it in a way where, you know, I can have more time to do what I'm really good at. You know, I couldn't do the sales and the marketing and the client takeover and all that stuff. So I thought back to a time in college, and in college, I had always done internships, and I'd done several unpaid internships. And so I had this idea, I'm like, why not provide internships for other people like how I did when I was in college? And so I'm like, okay, crazy idea, interns. So I was talking to my other business partner. It was me and another partner of mine. And I'm like, hey, let's put up some ads for interns. And he's like, interns? He's like, you know, that sounds crazy. Those are a lot of time to train people. You don't know where this is going to go. No one's probably going to respond. And so haven't gotten results. Maybe some of you have interns now and they're not quality, and you're spending more time than they're providing value. Like, that was totally the world of my business partner. And so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go for it. And so I put an ad up and I got a huge response. Literally in the first 3 days of putting up my first ad, I got over 50 applicants that were responding to my intern for copywriting. I wanted someone to start blog post writing and starting to do some content. And like I said, we had a publishing company, and that in and of itself was going to take up about 10, 15 hours away from my week. So when I got the response, I was so like shocked on how this worked and how it was so much interest was buzzing. And so from that particular ad, literally, a week later, I brought on my first intern, had the intern come on for a 3-month work trial internship. And we taught them how to develop blogs and how to use the things that we knew to grow. So I know a lot of you out there, like I said, are wearing lots of hats. And one of the things I came up against was knowing in myself, do I have like value to actually teach somebody? And when I got down to it, it's like, I know a lot of stuff and I'm not necessarily an expert in everything, but I know a lot more than say someone else does. And so that allowed me to provide the value with the intern. And so within 1 year, I was able to scale with this system, my business to, $1 million business. Like I said, we did 1.2 million our first year. We had 5 full-time employees and 10 interns. So, through the course of that one night in my office, when I had this idea with the intern, we were able to bring the interns on, able to hire people full-time, and basically make this dream team. And after the first year, I had tons of people coming up and being like, Jules, like, how are you doing this? Like, how? It wasn't just the dollar amount. So I know a lot of you listening are not dollar-driven people, and thank goodness, because the world doesn't just need more money and more hungry, money-driven people. It's impact. And I know a lot of you listening right now know that. And so what I was getting a lot of the feedback where people were so astonished by the culture that I was creating in my business. The amount of people that were so excited and had so much energy around the business that I would get a client that would be like, hey, I talked to Lou, and Lou was so helpful, and she helped this here, and she was so great there, that it really created a buzz around the work that I was providing in the world was the kind of team that I had. And that team and that energy and that buzz came from using these interns. And in just a little bit here, I'm going to show you exactly how to create that buzz in your own business. But imagine waking up every single morning, having people so excited and so passionate to show up for you that it really makes getting out of bed in the morning, into your business, working in your computer, whether you're go up to your fullest self and to really do what you want to do in the world. And so I'll share a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. So like I said, here's what I've done. I've launched, my first business a few years ago, publishing company, 7 figures, 5 employees, and 10 interns. What was really cool about this, though, is in that second year, I converted 5 of those interns. I converted 5 of the interns into employees. So that created all these new jobs of being able to spread the wealth and being able to spread all of the hard work that we had put together over the last year, that we became the dream team. And in that second year, we ended up hitting just over $2 million. So almost doubling our business the second year, taking some of these interns into employees. But beyond all of that, the wait list just to be an intern for my company grew to over 100 applicants. Really full of 100 people at any given moment that want to work for you, unpaid, for free. And I have no problem like paying interns. So if you want to have paid internships, that's totally applicable too. But can you imagine having 100 people that are not just people, but qualified people wanting to open up and be in your business? Like, what would that open up for you? Like, would you be able to take that trip that you've been wanting to? Would you be able to spend more time with your kids, with your partner? Like what? Like, would you be able to go to yoga? Like, what would that make available for you? So a lot of you listening here might be wondering what an intern is. And some of you I know maybe have used interns, have been an intern, but an intern basically is a graduate or a student that is still in school wanting to trade their time in exchange for value. So it is a relationship where you have someone that is, a recent graduate or someone that's in school wanting to exchange their time for value. So what that people are like, well, interns, they're great, but you're better off just hiring somebody that has a specific skill set. Well, interns can actually do a lot of different things in your business. So these are just some of the big areas in my business that I've used interns. And as you look here, I want you to take your hat off for right now. And I want you just to look at all the elements of your business. So put yourself in your business. What are the things in each given day do you have to get done? Is it marketing? Is it writing Facebook posts? Is it closing clients? Is it social media? Is it administrative stuff? So start to speculate on all the areas of your business that it takes to deliver your goods and your services out into the world. So these are just some of the areas that I've used in my business, but I want to show you, these are actual email snippets that I've taken from interns in the past that I've had in these positions. So like designing graphics. How many of you are either using PicMonkey, maybe you're outsourcing to Odesk, maybe you're using Photoshop, whatever it might be. But imagine having someone submit something that says, "It's a pleasure to submit my resume for your consideration as a design intern. Prior experience in illustration, design, and web programming." Like imagine instead of having to figure this out yourself, you've got somebody that's already qualified saying, "Hey, I'm super excited. It's a pleasure. And I know these experiences. I know illustration. I know design. I know programming." You know, someone, for example, in content, I'm thrilled. So for those of you that have a lot of blog post content that maybe you have to run in your business, having someone say, "I'm thrilled to be considered," having experience in the field of writing, editing, publishing, confident they can be an asset. You know, we look at finance, for example. I'm a recent graduate with degree in finance. So this is a person that's qualified with a degree in a particular finance. So for those of you that maybe you have lots of receipts and there's a lot of administrative stuff that you want to keep together, having someone being able, you know, this is not in replace of your bookkeeper. I'm not advocating, you know, go get an intern instead of a bookkeeper, but I'm saying having someone make those financial things flow, like helping with receipts or helping track expenses or projections. Having someone with a degree that says, "I can help in proposals, admin, bookkeeping, or anything else." You know, this was someone when we first wanted to look at getting funding, we had this intern go submit proposals for us and create proposals, and we check them to see, you know, are these things valuable? But imagine what that would do in your business, having someone with skills in specific fields. So what I'm trying to show here is that the sky is really the limit with the types of tasks that interns can do. And you obviously can read more on the screen, but there are people out there right now at any given moment, literally waiting for you to find them with expertise in areas that you may or may not be as good at. So I know, you know, like I said, as a solo entrepreneur, you can wear a lot of hats, but just because you can do a lot of things doesn't mean it's the best use of your time. And it doesn't mean that you're the most effective at it. So there's just a lot of people out there ready and waiting to come in and intern for you, unpaid or paid, and provide value for your business. So I just wanted to bring up one email that we got from an intern just to kind of show you what it's like to even have these interns and have people come in. So this is Mary Martin. She was someone that applied for our internship. She ended up becoming an intern, and then later she was a full-time staff member with us for about 2.5 years. But before we even hired Mary, she sent this email, 1,000 thanks. She said, "Thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to talk to me. To be considered is this is truly a wonderful opportunity, and it's an honor. And good luck for searching for the perfect candidate. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity." So this is just the type of interest that you can get from interns that are out there, just to show you that there are people that, I mean, we haven't even hired or offered the internship to Mary. And this is just after a phone call saying, "Thank you so much." So there is a hunger and a demand for interns looking for people like us. And I'm going to share exactly why that's the case in just a few minutes here. But there is such a demand that literally you will have one phone call to consider an intern. And this is the kinds of emails that you will be getting from these people. These are people that are just grateful to talk to you. They're like, "Oh, you have a startup company? You're not a corporation? You're not someone that's going to make me make coffee and push papers? You're going to teach me something?" Like, this is the stuff that comes in all the time. I just wanted to show another one. Megan Kelly, you know, another person that had a very nice interview. She goes on to say, "I apologize if this is getting sent twice, but I figure better safe than sorry. I look forward to hearing from you." So not only do you find people that are hungry and waiting, you have people following up. So I know for myself, I often found myself having to chase people down. How many of you listening right now have had to chase people down? I know when I've used Odesk before and it's like a week late and I'm wanting a task done, you're constantly following up. And whether they're paid or unpaid or whatever it is, to have to keep tabs on people to make sure that tasks get completing can be exhausting. And it's a time suck. So to have people, before you even bring them on board, saying, "Hey, I'm going to follow up with you not once, but twice, even though this is unpaid, because I really care and I really want to show up for your business." Like, what will that make available? Like, imagine bringing this person on board. If this is the kind of follow-up she has now, what it will be all of the guesswork and all of the noise out of what you're doing so that you can have an optimal environment to truly thrive and to truly succeed. So a few of the results that I've created. So I started with this, system that I'm about to share with you here with a few different people. And I wanted just to profile two of them so you can really hear from some of the results in action. And so Erin, for example, she said her business has tripled in 3 months. So Erin is a stay-at-home mom. Erin was working a 9-to-5 job in the field of marketing, and she decided she wanted to start her own business. She had 2 kids that were the age of 4 and 6. And before I was working with her in the system, she was working 16 plus hours a day. So how many of you, like myself, are in that position or were in that position, writing all of the copy, doing the designs, all the different things? And so after working with Erin, literally in the span of 3 months, her business tripled. She was able to bring on just 2 interns to help her, and her business expanded, and then she hired on both of those people. Not only that in terms of the bottom line, but her clients are happier, her team is more productive. So how many of you out there might be a stay-at-home mom, and even if you're not a stay-at-home mom, would love to have results like that? Like, what would you be free to do if you were able to stop working 16 hours a day? It's often we're excited, but then sometimes there's this practical element of the finances and this practical element of needing to make it all happen and these deadlines, and it takes away the fuel and the fire. And so being able to have people support you so that your fire magnifies is huge. And that's exactly what the system does for you, is it allows you to have room and space to breathe and to do what you want to do. Just another one real quick here that I want to highlight. Hollis in Flow Marketing finds that interns often outperformed the highest paid employees with more drive and passion. So this was a really cool thing, and I kind of touched about this a little bit earlier when I was sharing, but not only are these people really great to have, that often the interns are outperforming the employees. So what's kind of cool about the intern culture is that interns in a lot of ways are proving themselves. Sometimes they want to be hired, sometimes they just want a letter of recommendation, sometimes they want college credit. I'll share all that with you guys in just a little bit. But the thing is that when you have interns working with employees, if you have employees in your business right now, having the stoke and the passion behind these interns, it rubs off on your team. And it makes the whole team rise because everyone is excited. And we used to do these 1 weekly calls, and the amount of energy that would be up there when a full-time employee saw an intern in some ways like outperforming than what they were doing, it kind of made them think like, oh man, this intern's like doing more than I'm doing, and it elevates and escalates the bar. So, like he said, freeing up time, putting mind at ease, and raising quality. So I know a lot of you, like myself, are really, really passionate about having quality in your business. And for those of you that are listening and don't want those work, this is a really great way to be able to have that in place. Just want to share with you another intern here, Thousands Like Amanda, really just highlighting, once again, the amount of energy and just the quality of people that come in through your inbox. Like I said, literally at any given moment, I have like applications all the time for internships. And it doesn't matter if or right now, I'll share a little bit later, but I have a music project that I'm working on, and literally with not even a website, with one ad, I was able to recruit 2 interns. So that's more about that. It doesn't matter what place of business that you're in. There is place for all of us here. And so, once again, Amanda, it's not like Amanda's unique. There are thousands just like Amanda out there, just wanting to share. Thank you so much for the application, for consideration. Looking forward to speaking to you soon. Feel free to contact me. So I literally could share dozens of emails like this. And that's really in an effort to show you, like, this is a whole nother world that you may or may not be familiar with. And just kind of like the world of entrepreneurship. You talk to people about being an entrepreneur, and sometimes they get it and sometimes they don't. But you don't really get it unless you're in the world, you're in the medium, you're in the experience of it. And my goal here tonight is just to kind of bring you into that world so you can take what you learn from here tonight into your business tonight if you want to get started, so that you can start freeing yourself up, and not only like that, but creating a win-win situation. So this question might be going on in your heads, and it was definitely going in mine when I got all of these applications of quality people. So why do all of these qualified people want to work for free? Think about it. You've got people with degrees, people that are still in school, people that know Illustrator, people that know marketing, people that know this. Why do all these people want to work for free? So I am not too far off from recent college. I graduated college about 4 years ago. So for those of you that may or may not be as closely in touch with what's happening in college, maybe you have kids that are in college, but in a recent survey by College Board, that a moderate college budget for, this past year is about $22,826, $150 a year. So whether you're going public or private for a 4-year degree, it is about $90,000 to $175,000. So anyone that is coming into college is walking away with this price tag for their education. Pretty lofty price tag. What's kind of messed up about it is that 80% of employers want new grads they hire to have completed a formal internship. So not only have you just spent anywhere from $90,000 to $175,000 on your degree, now you want to come out into the job market, and now no one is willing to hire you because they want experience. So what is happening right now is there's a massive gap in the types of skills and things that are learning. And why 80% of employers now want a formal internship is that the college curriculum, isn't teaching the things like social media and the things like online marketing and stuff in the way that companies are wanting to integrate them. And there's a gap right now in the education system between the college curriculum and what is happening in the job field. And slowly it's working to kind of bridge that gap, but right now there's a massive gap. So that means 80% of employers want that experience. Now here's what's even more interesting, is that most people that are getting their degree are not necessarily, some are looking for a traditional job, but a lot of people are looking to take on more of an entrepreneurial role. And for those of you that either have been in college recently or have kids in college, you can't just go to your career center and you can't just say, hey, teach me what it's like to start a business. I want an internship watching someone start a business. That just doesn't exist. They can only go to corporations. So it is people like ourselves that have businesses that are the people that are able to bridge this gap to actually, one, provide the experience so that they can go get a job if they want to do that with the corporation, but two, also be able to teach people what it's like to be in startup culture and to teach them things like social media and to teach them stuff like copywriting and to teach them stuff about having a launch so they can actually learn that stuff. So there's a massive opportunity, and this is why I'm so fired up and passionate about this training and why I believe in interns and the value of this so much, is that I just see too many people, like my sister is in college right now, that like what they're learning and what is happening in the real world just doesn't match up. So will you be a part of this solution? So I want to go ahead and get into the content of this webinar this evening, this training, like I shared with you earlier, where I've been, how I've used this exact system to grow my business to 7 figures the first year, and why right now there's such a massive opportunity for interns. So go ahead, if you don't have one right now, go ahead and grab your pen and paper. And I want to share with you the 3 steps in this process to outsourcing success. So step number 1 in the process of how do you actually find these interns, how do you recruit them on board, step number 1 is identifying what your stupid human trick is. So if you just read that line and you're like, stupid human what? It's okay, I'm gonna share that in just a moment. But what I mean by stupid human trick is the one thing that you are exceptionally good at. It's the one thing that drives revenue, that drives sales into your business, that when you're doing it, it's almost like your flow state. So for me, it was growing and building teams. But for you, it might be your marketing, or it might be in your writing, or it might be in your sales. So I'll talk more about that just in a moment. Step number 2, identifying what's your value proposition. So like I said, what is an intern? Someone that trades their time for value. So I'm going to share with you exactly how this evening you can identify your value proposition to write the perfect ad to start finding your interns this evening. Step number 3, I'm going to share with you not only how to take these interns or how to recruit these interns, but how to take them from interns to full-time employees. Like I said, I took 10 and of the interns and brought 5 to employees. And then, hire and bring them on full-time. This is going to be the system that's going to take them there. So step number 1, identifying your stupid human trick. So I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. And as you close your eyes sitting here, I want you to think about all the things you do in your business each day. So what happens when you wake up in the morning? You wake up in the morning, you're in your comfy bed, maybe you're sleeping next to your partner, maybe you don't have a partner, maybe you have a dog, and your alarm goes off. And what are the thoughts that you have in your head? Is it, man, I got to respond to these emails. I've got coaching clients today. I've got to get this launch set up. I've got to create this graphic. I've got to do this. I'm super excited for my business. Like, what are all the thoughts that you have in your head when you wake up in the morning? And then as you think about all the thoughts, start to think about what are all the things you have to do with those thoughts. Do you have to schedule stuff? Do you have to show up for phone calls? And start to run your business. Content, website, whatever it might be. And then as you're running through that list in your head, I want you to start to speculate on the tasks that you absolutely hate. So yes, you heard me, the tasks that you absolutely hate, the things on the list that you do because you have to. So for me, it's website coding. I really love website coding, but I really hate it because it takes forever. And the other stuff is I really hate administrative things. I really am not great with details, and it takes me out of my flow by having to do those things. So I want you just to jot down the tasks that you absolutely hate doing, whether it's writing your blogs, or whether it's your administrative stuff, or whether it's, managing your social media, whatever it might be. And then as you're looking on your piece of paper in front of you at the things you hate doing, where do you most love to spend your time? So what are the things you like doing that most light you up? Like I shared earlier, mine is in growing and developing people. And then beyond looking at where do you most love to spend your time, where are you most effective? So where is it that when you're spending your time, magic happens and you have a multiplier effect? Is it, could be quite literally when you're on a phone call and you're converting a prospective client into a client. Being on the phone in that environment is total hell yes for you. Or maybe it's when you're sitting down and you're writing a beautiful blog post and that has a great call to action and that generates more leads. Maybe that's what makes you the most money in your business. Or maybe it's like myself and you're developing people and you're training people and that makes you feel most alive. So try to speculate on what is the one thing that when you're doing it, it makes you feel the most alive and it makes you have the most money or generates the most money in your business. So once you have that thing written down, that is your stupid human trick. So go ahead just right now, in the chat box, and go ahead and just write down in the chat what exactly is your stupid human trick. So I know we've got, a few people that are writing in here. Let's see. Technical difficulties, bear with me. All right. All right, so we're actually going to forego that for just a moment. Exactly is your stupid human trick. So for those of you that have your stupid human trick in your head, whether, like I said, it is like me and you're growing and developing people, or whether that is on your blog writing or when it's in you're on the phone, like I said, you want to be spending 90% of your time in that one thing. So what would it be like to set yourself up where you only had to show up every single day doing that? What if you just had to show up on the phone? What if you just got to have conversations with clients and coach them and make a difference? You didn't have to worry about how they got there. You didn't have to worry about where the money came from. That's all you had to do. So that is one thing right there that you want to focus on. And as you get clear on that focusing, now start to speculate on the list in front of you, the things that you hate, and getting clear on what are all the things you need to outsource so that you can just do that. Do you need to outsource having someone do administrative email stuff for you? Do you need to outsource having someone make posts on your social media? What specifically is it that you need to outsource? So on your piece of paper in front of you, make a list of the top 5 tasks that you will now outsource. Like I said, marketing, design, sales, whatever it might be. So once you have that stupid human trick, that is where you want to focus your time and looking at all the stuff you hate. So if you could take away everything else and just did that, what is that worth in your company? So like I said, is that peace of mind? Is that an extra trip with your family? Is that an extra walk with your dog? I'm so passionate about my dog, Ella. So if I talk about dogs a lot, that's why. But what would it be worth for you just to be able to spend your time doing what you love? So I want you to pick that one thing on your piece of paper out of all the things that you can outsource and the one thing that takes up the most of your time. So for me, it was, and when I was starting my publishing company, like I said, my stupid human trip was growing and developing people. And what took up most of my time was the content writing. I was spending about 40% of my time in my business writing blog posts and writing content. So I was clear that the first thing that I wanted to outsource so I could spend more time doing what I loved was in finding an intern for that. So on your piece of paper right now, I want you to circle the one thing that is taking up the most of your time in your business away from your stupid human trick, the one thing you're really good at, and that will be the one thing we'll work on tonight, and that will be the one area we'll outsource tonight. So now that you've got that one area, whether that's you're clear you're gonna find someone to do blog posts, you're clear you're gonna find someone for social media, to look at what you can offer. So how are you gonna find this person to now outsource that specific area of your business? What can you offer to that potential intern? What can you teach them? So like I was sharing earlier, often we know more than we think we do. And you don't have to be a complete expert in everything, but you just have to know a little bit of something and a little bit of different things, enough so that you can teach somebody. And like I said, these people are hungry for people that are in live, real-time startup culture, business culture now, that even being in that environment in and of itself is a value proposition. So I want you to write on your piece of paper top 5 points that you will be able to offer them. So what are the top 5 value things they'll get in trading in their time for your business? Is it that number 1 could be that they're going to be able to be around a startup culture. Number 2 is that you're super passionate about relationships and about getting to know people, and they're gonna be able to learn about relationships. It could be that you are a Twitter expert and you are gonna be able to teach the crap out of Twitter so that they can learn from you. It could be you've taken B School, which I'm sure a lot of you had, and you know about communication or list building. I mean, B School in of itself, you've got 5, 6, 8 areas you can teach on from that experience. So write down the top 5 points that you can provide value to somebody. And then as you have them, I want you to make those points specific to the area you're gonna outsource. So let's say you're going to outsource, social media. You're gonna want someone to do Facebook, and the top 5 value points is that you are good at making really cool Facebook posts, or you're good at finding really great images that people like, or it could be that you're really personable and fun to work with. Whatever those might be, these are gonna be the call to action bullet points we're gonna use in your ad to finding your first intern. So go ahead and just take a few moments to write down the top 5 value points someone's gonna get from coming to work with you. And if you're listening and you're like, man, I don't know what I have that's valuable, and you can only come up with 3, then 3 is fine. And I want to allow you to give yourself permission to explore here, is that, often, like I said, we're more valuable than we think we are, and we have more things to teach than we might think we do. So feel free to have some permission to have fun here. And another cool thing is that you could want someone in person and you're like, hey, I throw awesome, hangouts and socials, and we're just gonna have a lot of fun. And that's gonna be something that they're gonna have offer. And I've totally put that in ads before. Hey, this is gonna be a really fun internship, and we're gonna laugh a lot, and it's gonna be great. And for the right people, it's like everything they need. So those are the 5 call to action points, and that's what you're gonna use in your ad. So we've already started crafting our ad, whether you've known it or not. And on the piece of paper, you've got the one area outsourced, so you're clear that you're gonna find marketing or whatever it is. And now you've got these. Now that you've got the skeleton, where do these interns hang out? So how do you find them? How do you get responses like I was sharing? And I often get people that come to me and they're like, Jules, I've put an ad up before and it's been a ghost town. I've got no one to respond, or these people didn't even write cover letters and they were crap. Like, how are you finding these people? So I'm gonna share with you exactly where to find them. And so interns today, they live on the internet. So think about it, like in the way that college systems and structures are designed. They submit their coursework online, they read articles for classes online, they have online support groups, and they share everything on social media. I have 2 younger sisters that are 13 and 15, and they are social media junkies. I think that I know what's going on in the world, but I see them and they are all over the place. And it's the same thing with college students that are, learning right now as they live online. And what's cool about these interns is they are always looking for the next thing. And what's also cool is they know they need experience and they're looking for it. So college students are not naive to the statistic that 80% of employers are looking for recent graduates for their business. They're fully aware of this happening, and so they're looking for the next thing. So for those of you that maybe tried finding interns by going to colleges or talking to advisors and things like that, that's great. However, I will share that in my experience, it hasn't been effective because these students are online and they're looking for stuff online. So different places that you can look, for example, is you want to find out where they're looking. So it's like you want to tap into this pool of audience and this pool of momentum so that you can literally go in there and find them because they're looking for you. So social media sites are really great. Finding different Facebook groups, going to college pages are really great. Craigslist, funny enough, happens to be a really great place to find interns. There's also a few intern-specific websites. School career sites are great. But like I said, sticking to the internet to find these interns is where you'll want to post because that's where these interns are hanging out. So how many of you, like myself, spend the majority of your days on your computer? If you answered yes, or at least spend a few hours a day on your computer, then this is a really seamless thing that when we get off this presentation, this training tonight, you can go and post this right away. You know, you can literally go out there and hunt some of these down, take this skeleton ad that we've created and go plug it in right now and, you know, see some of the results that are available for you right away. So here is the 3-part system. Just to recap, step number 1, you know, if you've got your pen and paper, here's where you really want to get going with the notes, is writing the perfect ad. So like I said, you know, you're clear in the area you want to outsource, using the 5 call to action bullet points, the value points you wrote, is what will an intern get from working with you. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is writing the perfect test. So this is my favorite part about this whole thing. I, for myself, was in a position when I started this that I needed things done yesterday. That to-do list that we saw in the first picture, mine was like 5 pages long. And so even going through the process of finding interns for me seemed exhausting and like it was going to take time. So I thought to myself, how could I start getting value before even hiring someone? So what I did is after getting applications in, I created a test. So I said I wanted to work on, you know, blog post content was the first area I wanted to outsource. So I decided to write an article where I was like, I want someone to write an article about podcasting. And I'm going to share a snippet of that article with you a little bit later so you can see the quality. But what I did is I got someone to actually write an article about podcasting and how it's becoming a modern traffic stream. And that in and of itself, 1, allowed me to get value right away in my business. And 2, it allowed me to weed out people that weren't serious. And so you might be thinking, well, who's going to take the time to write a blog post that they haven't even, you know, gotten the internship for? I had, for this particular assignment, I had 23 out of the 27 people for this particular one, this test that I did. And this test that I'm sharing about is a one that I did actually just a few months ago. But I had 23 out of 27 submit a podcasting article. So for those of you that are listening right now and have something that's on the back of your mind, maybe it's writing part of a launch sequence, or maybe it's doing some market research or whatever it might be, that's your test. You know, have these interns prove themselves to you, 1, so you can see it works, but 2, so you can start getting value right away. So step number 3, after you've written your ad, you've posted it to these online sites, you've tested them with this perfect test, then step number 3 in this process is interviewing and recruiting. So once you pick out the test that you like, select 3 people for a 15-minute interview, choose the one you like and hire. You know, and there will be an opportunity if you want more of an advanced training on like the exact step-by-step process I have for this. I'll be able to share more of that with you later. But for the nuts and bolts of this, this is what you need to go ahead and get started. And this is the exact system that I started used a few months ago. And this is literally what I used like a week ago when I found my second intern in my music business without even a website. The last step I want to share with you in this process is how to take someone from intern to employee. So I know for me, my time is valuable and I love traveling. You know, how many of you listening are travelers out there or that love just doing fun stuff? You know, I live in Boulder, Colorado, and it's beautiful out. It's been in the 70s all week and I love hiking. And I also love having a business that can run itself. And so for me, being able to find someone that's an intern is great. for however long, whether it's 4 months or 6 months or however long it might be, but being able to convert that person into an employee, if I choose that's what I want to do, is great. And so just a few things to share. So often in the system that I have is I bring someone on as an intern. And in that time period, we're clear on how many hours per week. We sign an intern agreement. Sometimes it's for school credit. Sometimes it's for a letter of recommendation. And those things are all discussed up front, so it's super, super clear. But then if they're really rock star, then I bring them into a work apprenticeship, where then for a span of 3 months, it's like a work trial agreement. So I pay them a monthly stipend to work with me. Then they're really training from intern to almost more of an employee. And then during that 3-month period, if it goes really great, and I'm like, hey, you've made yourself so valuable that I have no choice not to hire you, then let me hire you. So at that point, that intern has jumped through 3 hoops just to be on my team. So think about that. What if you made or had every person that's on your team or working for you jump through 3 hoops to be with you? Like just the kind of environment and momentum that has. I mean, think about, Marie Forleo. I'll use her because I know a lot of us here are familiar with B School. Why Marie Forleo is so successful is she has a rock star team because everyone's passionate about what they're doing, because everyone's fulfilled, everyone's lit up. And this is how you create that kind of culture, is you give people incentives. You put people in places they're good at. It's like carrot in front of a stick. People want to learn and people want to grow and they want to expand. And so I'll share more about that in just a moment. So like I said, intern to employee. So how do you get them there? So this is probably my biggest sticking point in this whole process after they get recruited, is this 30-minute virtual face-to-face call. And if they're in person, awesome. But it's face-to-face because we live in a digital world, and even right now, you can't see my face. And often it becomes impersonable. And we get so overflooded with content and stimuli that it's so easy to disengage and not be invested in the human being. We just get connected to our text or to our Facebook or whatever it is. So being able to provide face-to-face connection for these potential interns is what really seals and solidifies the amount of stoke, if you will, or the amount of enthusiasm that these interns can have for you. So this is a 3-part call. And step number 1 is tapping into the intern's why. So for those of you out here that have not heard about Simon Sinek's Discover Your Why TED Talk, it's fabulous. It's like 15 minutes. But the whole talk, the premise of it is getting clear on what is it that lights you up in the world? What is it that brings you and makes you most alive? So Apple Computer, for example, why people buy Apple Computer isn't because they're looking for a computer, because they love what Apple stands for. It's innovative, it's sexy, it's fun, it's inventive. And people are buying the brand of Apple more than they're buying the computer. And it's kind of like the same thing about why, is we make decisions from our gut, we make decisions from our instincts. And so when you get clear on someone's why, you're connecting to the humanism of that human being rather than just like the surface level stuff. It's like we all can talk about money, but it's not why we run our businesses, for money. Otherwise we would be bored, or we might have like a 9-to-5. And if you have a 9-to-5, that's really great too. But we run our businesses because we're passionate, and the money comes because of our passion. So getting clear on what the intern's why is hugely important in the first few minutes. 1, like I said, you get to know what it is that their goals are. So are they wanting college credit? Are they wanting a letter of recommendation? Allows you to understand what motivates them, because you, like me, we're all motivated by different things. And some people like recommendation, and some people like external validation and words of affirmation, and some people like having a cool $5 Starbucks gift card. And everyone has, a different love language if you've read the 5 Love Languages book. So getting clear on that. Step number 2, getting clear on what are the specific skills they want to learn. So like I said, keeping these interns jumping through hoops is hugely important. It's the carrot in front of the stick. For me, it was like I had an intern that wanted to come on for content. They didn't just want to learn content. They actually wanted to learn how to post the content on WordPress. And then they wanted to learn how to take the content from WordPress and put it to social media. And then they wanted to learn how then to sell stuff from social media. So it's like we got clear on the whole cycle and place they wanted to go. So it was like, hey, master this skill set. Kind of like Karate Kid, Miyagi style, is master this. And once we get here, we'll teach you this and we'll teach you that. And this is how you get people growing in your business. And then step number 3, what is your ideal outcome in working with you? So for those of you that are literally like, man, I don't have a lot of time. This intern thing sounds great, but I don't have time to manage people and blah, blah, blah. This one phone call, this 30 minutes will save you the whole structure and system after that. From here, I literally just do 1 call a week with all the interns and check in via email. So in terms of like an intern management basis, you can manage them as much or as little as you want, but this call right here sets up the foundation for success. And lastly, in this step 3, like I said, you're getting the intern bought in on your big picture. And frankly, a lot of the businesses, I've checked out a lot of you that are on this webinar, you are up to some cool things. You know, you guys are doing some really cool things in your businesses. And there are a lot of people that are going to be super stoked to just like identify with you. You know, for me, like I am out to end the conversation that being an artist means you have to struggle. I'm out to take online marketing skills and teach musicians how to bring their gifts into the world and be paid for it. I'm eradicating a conversation that has been around for years and years and years. And it's not easy, but there are a lot of people that think that's really cool. And there are a lot of people that will think what you're up to is really cool too. And so once they're bought in on your vision, keeping them jumping through hoops is what keeps them around. You know, it's like if you just it's like when you're going on a date, you know, if the guy just gives you everything at once, you know, you're on your first date, it's like, where do you go from there? You know, you're bored. It's like if you were married, it's like, how did you end up marrying? How did you end up with your partner? So it's keeping them jumping through hoops keeps the excitement going. And like I said, after they master X, you know, what else do they want to learn? And allowing them to have like an idea of where they're going. You know, where can they expect this to go now in the end of the internship? Like what is on the future horizon? So just wanted to bring back Mary Martin as I shared with you before. And this is, you know, the podcast algorithm. So just to kind of give you a taste, like I said, this was a test. So after reading this, I'm like, okay, Mary Martin, I think I want to talk to you a little bit more. But Mary Martin, just so you get the world of the types of people that will write this stuff for you before you even bring them on board. Podcast, a healthy alternative to Netflix. People have cravings for content in the same way they do food. There's a deep, rumbling urge to consume that which entertains, and when it arises, it's hard to ignore, such as cheese. So Mary goes on to say a bunch of stuff, and then a favorite flavor for late media hungry Americans has been the delectable yet easy digestible podcast. Light in essence, crispy in content, the podcast is available for you to snack on anytime. So this is a excerpt that I took, and for me, this is the kind of content that I enjoy. It's funny, it's witty. If this isn't your style, that's totally okay. I imagine as you write your ads, you'll attract the people naturally that will fit you and your brand. But when I read this, I'm like, man, this girl wrote, this was a 1,000-word article. I asked for 500, she wrote 1,000 words because these guys are over. And this was that we wrote. And so from Mary Martin, not only did I bring her on to start writing content, by the month 1, she was writing content. By the end of month 1, she was uploading everything to WordPress. She was then uploading stuff, content bits to YouTube for me, then to Facebook. And then I ended up hiring Mary. And now Mary, a year and a half later, where every intern that I brought on since, Mary became the intern organizer. So imagine creating a structure where you are, you know, you're recruiting in the grounds and you're finding the people, but then you're empowering the people to empower the people to empower the people. So it's like Mary Martin started running my whole content area of my business a year and a half later, and every intern that I had, they just worked under Mary, and Mary became the trainer. So it's like I'm giving you a system here that doesn't just like feed you fish. I am teaching you how to fish. I am teaching you how to create like a life abundance of fish rather than just a one-time, one quick, you know, here's this, here's that, go do it, and it's gone. I'm really bringing you into this world so that you can understand like this is available for you to start in your business like tonight, you know, get it going. One more that I wanted to share with you, Christy O'Meara, this is a graphic design intern. She actually designed our logos for our publishing company, and we had logos before then. And I just kind of one day I got so sick of our logos 6 months into it, and I was just like, hey, can you know, give us a crack at this? And she designed that, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Same thing with Christy O'Meara. She interned with us for 4 months, brought her on the work trial thing. 8 months later, we hired her full-time, and Christy literally became the system for how we did design our business. So we would make book covers, we would make little inserts in digital books. Christy was responsible for all that stuff. And being able to do that unpaid, she got college credit. And Mary Martin, people like Christy, they exist out here all the time, and they are just waiting for you to come find them. Recap of this 3-step system. This is what you can take tonight. I know I've been moving quickly. There's been a ton of stuff to get through. So hopefully on the pen and paper in front of you, you've got some great stuff down. Step number 1, like I said, identifying your stupid human trick. So the thing that makes you money, most effective use of your time. Like I said, you wrote down all the things you hated in your business and the one area in your business that takes you away from your stupid human trick the most. Like I said, my stupid human trick was growing and developing people. The area that I was spending most of my time was in content writing. That was the first area that I went to outsource. Step number 2, defining your value proposition. So getting clear on those 5 bullet points that you have to offer people tonight, right away, so that you can put into your ad. And step number 3, how to take someone like Mary Martin, Christy O'Meara from intern to dedicated full-time employee. So it's pretty simple. This whole concept, this world here, is get the intern to work for you for free. Unpaid, if you prefer that word. Then if they make money for you, you can invest in them. Have them make themselves so valuable, you have no choice. Like $40,000, $50,000 starting salary from somebody that ends up just sucking. You know, like I don't know about you, but I've had friends of friends that I've gotten recommended to and I've hired them. And frankly, the work just isn't up to par. Like how many of you can identify with that? And it's kind of like, oh man, or you paid like $1,500 for someone to design your website and you get it back and you're not thrilled. Like what if you had someone where you can literally have them prove their value while they're getting value? And then if it's a win-win, then you bring them onto your team. Like how much better does that make the energy around you? You know, instead of having to then go back to that person and be like, man, I really don't like this, you know? And then it's like weird. It's a win-win for all that. It's a risk-free investment. So when you leave here this evening from this training, you've gotten hopefully a lot of really great information from me. And if you haven't hired quality teams or found interns, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So what can you do about it? So I shared with you earlier that I have an advanced training and I want to introduce this to you. It's the Master Delegator Program. What I shared with you tonight, literally the specific step-by-steps, the intern ad templates, like literally giving you all the goods of how I do this. I have literally been hired by companies like Integrative Nutrition and things like that to come in and coach their teams, you know, on stuff. Using this system, using interns. And so I'm sharing the best of the best in this program with you. So you're gonna receive step-by-step instruction on how to implement this strategy right now. So you will literally be able to walk away from here tonight in this business, in this strategy. Tomorrow, if you want, you can literally be sorting through ads. And the great thing with the Master Delegator is that you will be able to scale faster, stop overwhelmed sooner, keep more of your money, and live the life you've always wanted. So for those of you that are procrastinating yoga or procrastinating taking a vacation or procrastinating spending more time with your kids or your partner or having an extra night a week just to make dinner, this is how you get there. This is how you free yourself up. This is how you give yourself space. This is how you learn how to fish so that you can be doing this like how I am. I mean, 4 years later, I'm still using the system because it works. And I'm still getting applications because it works. And I'm touching lives because it works. And so this is available for you to get started on. In the first webinar, I'm going to share with you Outsourcing 101. So giving you literally all the basics that you need to know about interns, the types of things interns are motivated by, whether it is college credit, whether it's letter of recommendation, whether it's future employees, whatever it might be. I'm going to share with you all of that. Webinar number 2, I'm going to show you how to lay the groundwork. So I'm going to take you through an exercise that gets clear on all the areas of your business, where you're spending time in each area, and we're going to prioritize the areas to outsource that's going to make you most effective and free you up faster so you can start making more money. I'm going to share you in webinar number 3, the ad networks and websites. So I'm literally going to take you through a screen share of posting the ad on a few different sites. I'm going to share with you exactly how I respond to the ads. I'm going to share with you the exact ad I use so you can plug and play the template. I'm going to share with you all the goods that I have so you can literally get starting on this. Webinar 4, testing and recruitment, I'm going to share with you. So one of the things that I did, I had someone set up a random social media page for me, and they got 200 likes in the span of 3 days somehow. And I was like, wow, that's a really good person for Facebook. Okay, I think I'm going to hire them. But I was able to use that right away in my business. So I'm going to show you how to do that for your business. I'm also going to show you in webinar 5 how to set up the system, how to shift your mindset. So how to really create $1 million mindset. Like, it took something, right? And you are learning from people that haven't run 7-figure businesses before, you should stop doing that. And I say that because there are so many people that are wanting to coach you on stuff that haven't done it themselves. And so there's something that it takes in being able to do that. And I want to share that with you because the world needs more empowered women, more empowered people making a difference out there in the world. And then I'm going to show you exactly in webinar 7 how to create your own position, and webinar number 8 how to automate. How to be doing this time and time again, so you have people like Mary Martin and Christy O'Meara hiring and running your interns for you, so that say 6 months from now, like you're the master puppeteer. You've got all the pieces, you've got everything working, and you're just showing up. Imagine what it's like just to show up on calls and get to do that because you love it, or just to write all day. Or, just to be doing cool marketing stuff. Like, I love geeking out on marketing. And so if I can just geek out on marketing, it's great. So the total value for all of these webinars, $2,376. I'm also going to give you an hour Skype session. So I roughly, from Skyping with me for an hour, I charge anywhere from $500 to $3,000, depending on if it's a private or corporate client. I'm going to give you a full hour where you can ask me anything. I'm really just committed for your success on this. Like, this is not about like another program or another course or another this or another that. It's like about finding people for your business. Like, this isn't like a system that's changing. Like, this is something I've been using for 4 years. And this is the advanced version of how to do it. And I'm also going to give you 3-month email access to me. So any questions you might have, I'm able to answer those for you. So you will get the 8 webinars, $2,376, the hour Skype session, 3 months of email support, total value $5,376. Like I said, just coming back to Erin, like her business tripling in 3 months, stay-at-home mom, working 16 hours a day, now like having happy, productive clients, just imagining like for yourself what that will be like in your business and what that could be like in a week. It took me from where I was with my publishing company just about 2 months, and I was there. In my business, I had tons more freedom. And like I said, with Hollis, like for those of you that have people working for you now, like imagine just having a culture where people are stoked all the time and they have people with more drive. You have more people with more drive and passion working for you than ever before. So a few bonuses that are available for you today. I'm going to share with you in just a moment a really, really awesome bonus that's in addition to these. But before I do that, if you've already decided, hey, I want this advanced training, this is something that really like I want to get started on, I want to make a difference right now, I want to give you is the specific ad template. I literally just updated this again with what I used 2 days ago that got me, these new interns without a website. So you'll get everything that I used valued at $197. I'm also going to give you my 5-step training template. So literally like a plug and play. So if you don't want to deal with people or manage them and it's not your thing, that's awesome. This training template literally is a value from you and your business. And lastly, the intern contract template. So I know this is a sticking point for some of you. I'm not a lawyer. I don't plan to, advertise legal advice, but I will share with you the specific contract that I use to create a win-win relationship for my interns, whether that is college credit or whether that is, letter of recommendation. What that is, I'll give you that exact template that you can use as a model to craft for your own business. So like I said, I'm going to give you the webinars, the Skype session, the 3-month email access, the ad template, training template, contract template, this, at $197. So total value of $7,967. Can you do this another way? Yeah, of course you can do this another way. You can go and find your own interns. And that's totally, and they've been like, hey, Jules, I can't, it's a ghost town out there. Why am I not finding anybody? And I'm committed to you finding more people because I want more of my friends and my sister's friends and people to have jobs and people to get the experience they need. Like they're hungry for it. So yeah, you can spend time writing what you think is the perfect ad and, put it up and only get a few qualified applicants, or you can take my template. You can also hire someone and, maybe hire them for $40,000, $50,000 a year and get a gamble on your return. Like I shared, that's happened to me a few times. And for those of you that maybe it's happened to, it's frustrating, especially when you get a letter of recommendation or you hire someone off of Craigslist or whatever it is, and you spend a lot of money and you don't get much. Or you can outsource. And I have nothing against outsourcing, but it can be exhausting. For those of you that outsource in India or the Philippines or wherever it might be, either they don't speak much English, or even if they do, the deadlines aren't there and they're like halfway across the world. Or even worse, you can do nothing at all. You can listen to all this and be like, wow, that was really great. I got a lot of good information. And you can keep being a slave to your business, hoping someday it will be different. I mean, what is Einstein's definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So the fact is, there's no comparison. So here's why I want to give you my success. And two, I'm looking for people to partner with us and spread the word. Like there's no reason that a Facebook post should go up like that in a Freedom Hacker group and have people be so charged about interns and not get it, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's great. But there are so many people, like I've shared with you, like Mary Martin and some of these emails, just people that are hungry out there. And when you sift through all the crap that's in the space, like how much crap have you had to take for being an entrepreneur? And maybe you haven't had to take any, and that's awesome. But when I first got started, my dad and I, we went tooth and nail about me being an entrepreneur, and I've taken crap a lot of my life about it because not everyone gets it. It's different, and different sometimes is uncomfortable. And I want more people that can spread this working and see the results in this working. And just as a massive thank you for responding in the group and, pushing me to share this information in this kind of capacity and taking time to put this together and this program together. So $5,376 value. And literally, I'm going to offer this to you for $297. So for the next 15 minutes or so, go ahead, and if you want to take advantage of this advanced training, go to julesschroeder.com/intern program. But not even just that. The other bonus that I want to offer you is for those of you that are on here tonight and that go ahead and take advantage of this advanced training, I will help you find your first intern. So I will actually work with you. I will help you craft your ad. I'll help you post your ad. I will help you recruit your first intern. So literally, sometime next week, if you take advantage of this advanced training, you could be the person that I pick out of those that take advantage this evening to actually go ahead and help me find your first intern. So if you want someone for social media or marketing or copy or whatever that might be, that's an offer available for you on the table. And not only that, I want to give you a 30-day risk-free trial. I believe in the system more than you can know. Believe in enough to take a bunch of crap from a Facebook group and still put on a training because I'm passionate about it because it makes a difference in people's lives. So if you go through this program and you do all the homework and you post your ad, you a full refund. You just got to show me that you posted your ad, you got to show me your ad and that you did the work. And if you're not satisfied, I will fully refund your purchase. That's how much I believe in this product. So like I said, the special bonus, I will help you find your first intern. And for only $297, you can go now to julesschroeder.com/intern program. So go ahead and take advantage of that. I'm going to go ahead and just pull the chat box out here and stop sharing. This face should be live again. Hello to everyone out here. Great. So I just want to open up the floor for any questions that you might have. I'll go ahead, once again and see if I can go ahead and put this. Someone's asking for the link to put back up in here, julesschroeder.com/intern training. So it looks like we've got a question here from Kristen. From where do your interns work? Do they work with you in person? Can they work remotely? I don't have a space to invite them. Interns, all of my interns work virtually. It's only been this last little bit here that I started bringing interns into more of my office space. And so yeah, interns work virtually. We just do a Google Hangout every single week. And they almost prefer to work virtually because they're super busy with the stuff that they're up to. So it's a seamless way for them to integrate and for them to get going on stuff. So great question. Yes, I'm still working on putting up the link. Let's see. That's done there. Once again, if you have any more questions, let's see. Looks like we've got a question from Amy. Amy wants to know about the intern contract template. Yes, Amy, so the contract template is something that I had someone advise me on, and we created that, and that's the template that I use. It's intended just specifically for you to create it in your own business and to use it there. So go ahead, and you're welcome to use that in the advanced training, which is great. Let's see if I can do this. Here is the link once again for those asking for it. Intern training. schroeder.com/intern training. So that right there, just want to make sure that I've got the right link there. And intern, that is not the correct link, so actually ignore that link. This is the link right now. And if you've got any more questions, feel free just to put them into the Q&A section. Yeah, so you can go ahead and click that right now. It's intern program. It should be available for you there. Any more questions that we've got coming through here? Looks like we've got, Kristen says that's awesome. You're welcome. Looks like we've got one more question coming in here from Sarah. Sarah wants to know how long, if the modules are done. So Sarah, the modules will be released each week. All the bonuses will be ready to go for you right away. So if you want to go ahead and take advantage of the advanced training, that's there for you right now. And I'm glad you enjoyed the content. Has questions about anything else about it. But the biggest thing is I'm just excited the opportunity to be able to share it with you. You know, like I said, it's near and dear to my heart, something I'm very passionate about and something that's working. And so it's cool whether you have kids or you have siblings or people that you know that are in college. Yeah, it's a great way to get involved there. And I think we've got one more question here. Let's see, we've got a question. We've got Tim, guy's voice in the webinar. Tim wants to know about how the group Q&A will work. Yeah, so Tim, we'll just schedule once we've got everyone in the program that wants to do it. You will go ahead and pick a time, and then I'll go ahead one-on-one to take advantage of that bonus. So I've never done that before, help someone find an intern, but it will show you the results, and yeah, I'm excited to see what it will do in your business. If you want to go ahead and take advantage of that. So let's see. I think that is it in terms of questions. Looks like we've got Jen. Jen said she's in the program. Oh, congratulations, Jen. Thanks for joining us. So if anyone else would like to go ahead and take advantage of the program, like I said, it's in the chat link. It's julesschroeder.com/intern program, $297. Kind of a stupid, ridiculous price. And that will literally get a return on whoever you decide to bring on an intern, probably in your first 2 weeks or less. If you think about hiring someone for, like, I don't know, 25 bucks an hour, but that, yeah, will be available for you. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm going to double check to make sure we don't have any more questions before we wrap up. Awesome. I hope you got a ton of great value, and look forward for those of you that have joined in the program. And yes, there will be a replay out so that you can share with your friend, Ken. Okay, great. Awesome. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Thanks for tuning in.